Run your tongue along the back of your bottom front teeth. Go ahead, do it right now. Feel that faint, rough little ridge down near the gum line, the shelf of hardness your toothbrush always seems to slide right over. For a lot of folks past 50, that is the one spot they have quietly given up on. They have decided it is just age now, just the way things are. It is not. What if I told you that the film your toothbrush keeps missing, the soft stuff that slowly turns into that ridge, can be loosened and kept from ever coming back with something that costs less than a cup of coffee, and that you can start tonight in your own bathroom? Now, I can almost hear you through the screen. Come on, Dr. Hale, is that really true? I understand the doubt, believe me. You have heard 100 promises from 100 tubes and rinses. But this is not a gimmick. It is just the plain biology of how plaque forms and hardens. And I am going to keep it simple and honest, including the part most people leave out. I am Dr. Warren Hale, your neighborhood dentist, and after 30 years chairside, here is the number that ought to stop you. Nearly half of all adults over the age of 30 are walking around with some form of gum disease, and most of them have no idea because it begins in exactly that spot you just touched with your tongue. So before we go 1 inch further, I want you to drop the shame at the door. This is not your fault. Nobody ever taught you the cheap version because nobody makes much money teaching it. Grab a pen because we are doing a complete plaque and tartar masterclass today. What actually loosens it? The cheap thing to add tonight. The one honest limit you have to understand, and the mistake almost everybody makes without ever knowing it. One quick and honest word before we begin. I am here to teach, not to diagnose you. I am not your dentist, and nothing in this video replaces a real exam by someone who can look inside your mouth. If your gums are bleeding, sore, swelling, or changing in any way, please go and see your own dentist. Are we clear on that? Good. Then let us get into it. Let me start with the thing most folks get wrong, because if you do not understand this one piece, none of the rest will hold together. That soft, fuzzy film you feel on your teeth by the end of the day has a name. It is called plaque, and it is not food. It is a living layer of bacteria, millions of them, building a sticky little city on the surface of your tooth. Here is the part that matters. While that film is still soft, you can remove it. A brush, a bit of floss, the things we will talk about, they all work on soft plaque. But leave it sitting there, undisturbed, and within about 24 to 48 hours, the minerals in your own saliva begin to harden it, like cement curing. Once it sets, it has a new name. We call it tartar or calculus. And here's the honest truth you need carved in stone. Once plaque hardens into tartar, no brush, no rinse, no miracle powder on earth is going to take it off. That ridge you felt is tartar that already set. So the whole game, the entire game, is not some magic dissolver. It is loosening and clearing the soft plaque every single day before your own spit turns it to stone. Get that, and you have understood more than most people learn in a lifetime of dental visits. Now, why does any of this matter beyond the ridge feeling rough? Let me tell you, because this is the real stakes. That hardened tartar sits right at the gum line and just under it, and it is packed with bacteria. Your gums do not like that, so they get inflamed. That is the first stage, and the first sign is bleeding. If your gums bleed a little when you brush, that is not normal and it is not nothing. It is the earliest warning your body gives you, and it is shouting at you to act now while it is still easy. Healthy gums do not bleed. Leave it long enough and that inflammation works its way deeper. The gum pulls away from the tooth, little pockets form, and eventually the bone that holds the tooth in place begins to melt away. And here is the thing almost nobody tells you. Gum disease, not cavities, is the #1 reason adults lose their teeth after the age of 40. The teeth themselves are often perfectly sound. They simply lose the foundation under them, quietly, painlessly, until one day a tooth feels loose. So when I talk about clearing soft plaque, understand I am really talking about keeping your own teeth in your head for the rest of your life. That is the whole prize. Let me tell you about a woman who sat in a chair across from me years ago. I will call her Edith, a retired school teacher, and she came in with her hand half over her mouth, ashamed, certain I was about to scold her. I told her what I am telling you. This is not a willpower problem, Edith. For almost the whole history of the human race, people kept their teeth into old age, and most of them never owned a toothbrush. You can look at skulls from before refined sugar and soft white flour, and you will find remarkably little decay. Why? Because they were chewing coarse, fibrous, gritty food that scrubbed their teeth as they ate, and they were not bathing those bacteria in sugar 6 or 7 times a day. The food changed, and it changed faster than our mouths ever could. That is not your fault, and it was not Edith's. But it does mean we now have to do on purpose what their dinner used to do for free. So here is the first thing to add tonight, and I am putting it first because it does the most for the least money. Switch your toothpaste to a remineralizing one, either a fluoride paste or one of the newer hydroxyapatite pastes you will now see on the shelf right next to them. Let me tell you why hydroxyapatite is interesting. It is, quite literally, the same mineral your tooth enamel is made of. When you brush with it, those tiny mineral particles fill in the microscopic rough spots and the soft, early, weak places on the enamel, and they leave the surface smoother and slicker. And here is the quiet benefit nobody mentions. A slicker surface gives that bacterial film less to cling to, so less plaque builds in the first place. A tube runs you about $8 to $12 and lasts months. Fluoride does a similar job by a different road, and it is the single most studied tool in all of dentistry. Either one is a real, honest upgrade. But here is my first honest limit, and I will give you several today, because that is how you will know I am telling you the truth and not selling you a dream. A remineralizing toothpaste helps harden early, soft, weak spots in the enamel. It will not regrow a tooth that already has a real deep cavity, and it will not dissolve tartar that is already hardened. It is prevention and early repair, not a cure for damage already done. The second thing to add costs even less: xylitol. It is a natural sweetener, and you will find it in certain gums and little mints. Here is the trick of it. The bacteria that cause the most trouble try to eat it, the way they eat sugar, but they cannot actually use it. They take it in and they starve a little, and they make less of the acid that eats your enamel and inflames your gums. A few dollars, and the easy way to use it is 1 piece of xylitol gum after a meal, when you are out and cannot get to a brush. One small word of care: if you have a dog at home, keep xylitol well away from them, because it is genuinely dangerous to dogs, even though it is fine for us. Now hold on, because the next part is the one most folks get backwards. The third thing is not a product at all, and it is the most powerful of them. It is the mechanical part, the actual disturbing of that soft film. And the honest truth is it matters far more than any paste you buy. Now, I will admit something to you. When I was first trained, a long time ago, the advice we gave was practically to scrub, hard, back and forth, like you were sanding wood. We were wrong. We have learned that hard scrubbing wears little notches in the teeth right at the gum line, and it makes the gums recede, and it does not even clean better. So forget everything you were told about elbow grease. Here is the right way. A soft bristled brush, never a hard one, tilted at about a 45-degree angle so the bristles point gently up into the line where the tooth meets the gum. Small, soft circles. You are not scrubbing a pot, you are sweeping a film. 2 minutes, twice a day, and give a gentle pass to your tongue while you are at it, because bacteria gather there too. And then, the part almost everyone abandons after 60, you clean between the teeth every single day, because your brush simply cannot reach the sides where plaque loves to harden into that ridge. Floss if you can manage it, but if your hands are not what they were, and for a great many of us they are not, then little interdental brushes, the ones on a tiny handle, or a water flosser, will do the job beautifully and are far easier to hold. That, done once a day, is what actually keeps the tartar from ever forming. The fourth thing is about timing, and it surprises people. It is not how hard you brush, it is how often you feed the bacteria. Every time you sip something sweet or acidic, you hand them another meal, and you bathe your enamel in acid for the next half hour or so. So the all-day coffee, the constant sweet tea, the hard candy you nurse through the afternoon, those do more quiet damage than a single dessert eaten and finished at dinner. Drink plain water through the day instead, and when you do have something acidic, swish with a little water afterward to wash the acid away. Simple, free, and it changes the whole battle. And there is a fifth thing, and it is one that hits our age group especially hard, so write this down: dry mouth. As we get older, and especially if you take medications for blood pressure, for the heart, for sleep, for mood, for allergies, a great many of them quietly dry up your saliva. And saliva is your mouth's own natural defense. It washes away food, it neutralizes acid, it carries minerals back to the teeth. When it dries up, plaque builds faster and decay races ahead. So if your mouth feels dry, sip water often. Let a sugar-free lozenge or a piece of that xylitol gum keep the saliva flowing. And here is the important part: do not stop any medication on your own. That is a conversation for your doctor or your dentist, never a video. But you can tell them your mouth is dry and ask what helps, because there are good answers. Now, I promised you honesty, so here is the second hard limit. And this one is a safety matter, so listen closely. Please do not try to scrape that hardened ridge off yourself with a metal pick from the drugstore. And do not start scrubbing charcoal or lemon or straight baking soda on your teeth to whiten or strip it. I see the results of both, and they break my heart a little. A metal scraper in an untrained hand slips, and it cuts the gum or scratches the root surface. And that does real harm that invites more trouble. And charcoal and lemon are abrasive and acidic. They wear away the enamel you can never ever grow back. Enamel does not return. There is no version of you that regrows it. So the hardened tartar below the gum line that genuinely needs a hygienist and the proper tools. And there is no shame in that and no way around it. What you can do at home, the thing that is truly in your power, is stop new tartar from ever forming. That is the win that is yours to take. And here is an honest, encouraging word on timing, because I never want to overpromise you. If your gums are in that early bleeding stage, doing this daily will often settle the bleeding right down within 1 to 2 weeks. That is genuine healing, and it is faster than most people expect. The only catch is consistency. 3 good days and then a week of forgetting will not do it. Done every single day, this is the thing that holds. And let me say a plain word about cost, because it matters to a lot of you living on a fixed income. A good professional cleaning is a real and necessary thing, and dental work, as you well know, is not covered by Medicare, which makes every bill sting. But you should also know that the office that got bought up by a big chain 4 states away often has a quota, and there are places that will push more onto you than you truly need. The dentist you want is the one who is glad when you need fewer cleanings, not more. So if something does not sit right, you are allowed to ask why. You are allowed to ask to see the readings they took, and you are allowed to get a second opinion. That is not being a difficult patient. That is being a wise one. So let us add it all up, plain and simple. A tube of remineralizing toothpaste, $8 to $12. A pack of xylitol gum, a few dollars. A soft brush and something to clean between your teeth, a few dollars more. And 5 honest minutes twice a day with the right gentle technique, plus a glass of water within reach all day long. That is the whole thing. Do that and you break the cycle right where it starts, and you keep that soft film from ever becoming the ridge you felt at the start of this video. And you keep the foundation under your teeth solid for years to come. And please, keep seeing your own dentist, because the part below the gum line is theirs to handle. And they are the ones who can catch the trouble you cannot see for yourself. Next time, I am going to show you the one drink that is quietly eroding more enamel than soda, and most people sip it all day long, thinking it is the healthy choice. It is the natural next step after today. So take care of those teeth and be kind to yourself about them. Remember, they are the only set you get, and you are never too old to start saving them. I am Dr. Warren Hale. I will see you next time.